and one of the community forums here. So I'm the director of the Legal Aid Society of Southwest Ohio. That's a division of the Legal Aid Society of Greater Cincinnati, and we do a lot of work in housing. I'll be brief. I just want to make 2 points for your consideration, and then you're going to get lots of amazing information, I know, from the Beasley Center effort and Michelle. So, first off, why can't we say and do this? Good, affordable housing for everyone. Why isn't that the biggest priority we should have here in Cincinnati? So, some words about revitalization. From my client's perspective, I work with individual tenants, we work with tenant groups, and what I've learned is that whenever my clients living in a neighborhood hear that their neighborhood is going to be revitalized, what that tells them is this: it's time to start packing. Because revitalization in this city and too many other cities does not benefit the people in the neighborhood. We've seen that many times over the years in the West End. We've seen that over the Rhine, and we're seeing it in other neighborhoods as well. We've got to change that. So, I was like very proud. Yesterday's Enquirer, West End home prices soar as stadium rises. It's a clever headline. And then down here it says, for renters, that's not all good news. Well, that's an understatement. Right? It's rising property values are going to raise the rents. They're going to force tenants out in the West End because of that. It's also bad news for some homeowners too, right? I mean, for the homeowners who can afford the increased taxes and have homes that they can see appreciate in value and maybe eventually sell, that's great. But for some of the homeowners who've been in the West End for many years and are just scraping by to stay in their homes, increased property values mean increased taxes. And increased taxes mean it's harder to hang on to your house. So it's, it's a real threat. And it's a threat that we, have to confront and not sweep under the rug. Just an example, in the city of Philadelphia recently, the city has adopted some policies to try to reduce the effect of increasing property values on low-income homeowners. And, I think that's something we have to consider. But again, what that leads into is another discussion about tax evasion, because how do we figure out how everybody pays their fair share of taxes? The system right now, as we'll hear, I'm sure, in more detail from Michelle and the Beasley folks, is very messed up. So I guess I got to talk a little bit about tax evasion and the soccer stadium. So here's a question: how much public money is going into FC Cincinnati's soccer stadium? Every time I see an article these days, I see the figure of $34 or $35 million. And every time I see that, I think to myself, why are you saying that? Because the true figure is 4 or 5 times that amount. And let me just play that out a little bit. I pulled up a article from the Cincinnati Enquirer from a year ago, and it talks about the $34 or $35 million subsidy the city of Cincinnati is providing. It doesn't talk at all about the money that Hamilton County is going to provide, which is millions. It also doesn't talk about the fact that the city is going to be making a loan, and the city is going to pay the interest on that loan, and that is going to be around $40 million. It starts adding up. And then, remember this: the stadium is not going to pay real estate taxes.
Right.
It is going to be tax evaded. They will pay the pilot on the TPS. Yes, sir.
How does the city articulate when it's actually going to benefit from that?
Well,
if ever.
There still is a belief among many community leaders around the country that having professional sports teams somehow or other magically improves the quality of our lives. You know, as you can see, I'm skeptical of that. I think there are economic studies that show the benefits, if any, are greatly exaggerated. So,
John, do we know how the earnings tax is going to be levied on the employees of FC Cincinnati?
I do not know.
I mean, I know there's been an awful lot of controversy in other professional sports about visiting teams and about how much time they actually spend in the city, and so it is not necessarily true that we can look at their payroll and say there's an earnings tax of 2.1% that's going to come back to the city.
Well, you know, so other cities have looked at that and done things. Michelle?
Just so you know, FC decided to put their operations out in Milford.
Right.
So
Okay.
Milford will maybe see some of that.
No, well, but they're not, are they in the city of Milford? I think they're outside. I think they're in the township.
Right, so whatever that municipality is though, it wouldn't be.
Well, no, the township can't levy earnings tax.
Okay. That's why I didn't think that.
The people work in Cincinnati. The team, the players.
Well, I don't know that because their headquarters are not in Cincinnati.
Right, the practice facility is going to be out there.
Practice facilities are not in Cincinnati.
That's why I was asking the question. just to
Yeah,
see whether-
I think some cities have looked at taxing not only players who are based in the area, but even players who come in from out of town.
Right.
And I think that's certainly something that's worth looking at. But just to sort of sum up, because I know we want to hear from our other speakers, I mean, so my main points are be wary of revitalization of neighborhoods. We have to find a way to make sure that the people who are least advantaged in our neighborhoods don't end up getting the short end of the stick. And the other part is we are giving away the farm tax abatements.
I have a question.